against the Denver Broncos.
It's a gorgeous afternoon in the Colorado Rockies. Temperature of 50 degrees, azure blue skies, week 12 of the 1984 NFL season. Today, the 10-1 Broncos against the Minnesota Vikings from Mile High Stadium. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Vern Lundquist along with Terry Bradshaw. This is a Denver team that is 10-1. Yet, Terry, by nature of the way they have won 3 of their last games, a lot of folks are calling them lucky. Do you concur with that?
Well, you might want to call them lucky. I would prefer to call them good. Anytime you can win 10 football games in the National Football League, be 10-1 going into the 12th game, Houghton, you are good. This football team's good. Now, on the other hand, today for them to win, they got to play a football team in Minnesota Vikings, and a team that maybe people are saying around here, well, heck, they might be taking them a little bit lightly. Minnesota certainly hopes so. They have Kramer back. They expect a lot of excitement from their offense. We're going to have a good game, folks.
There is Tommy Kramer. As we said, 50 degrees, 23% humidity. Winds out of the east at 8 miles per hour. The forecast continued sunny, and Rich Carlos's kick will be taken deep at the goal line. Back it comes to the 20, right side to the 30, and out of bounds to the 45-yard line. Darren Nelson returns the ball 45 yards. The tackle made by Rich Carlos. Tommy Kramer, after 3.5 weeks out, will open at quarterback. Ted Brown, Alfred Anderson, the halfbacks. Leo Lewis and Mike Jones are the wide receivers. The offensive line, Steve Jordan. Steve Riley has gone back to left tackle this week. Curtis Rouse, Grant Fiesel starting in place of Ron Sams. Terry Tausch at right guard, and Tim Irwin back in his accustomed spot at right tackle. Tommy Kramer with a separated shoulder missed the last 3.5 games. Archie Manning started 1 game in his place. Wade Wilson the last 2. Had a flag on the last play, personal foul. First down. That is our referee, Chuck Eberling. So Minnesota with terrific field position to start the game at the 39-yard line of the Denver Broncos. The Vikings come in 3-8. They have lost 6 of their last 7. Their only victory in the last 7 games was a 27-24 win over Tampa Bay 2 weeks ago. Kramer with his backs in the eye. Now Ted Brown in motion. Fumble.
Denver's ball, Vern.
They are now plus 26 in turnovers for the year. How about that? That becomes the 20th fumble recovery for the Denver Broncos in 1984. Dan Reeves is telling us, go ahead, Terry, take a look at it.
Well, it's one of those things that should never happen. It's a quarterback-center exchange, and you'd like to say, well, Tommy being out for so long, but it could be the excitement pulling away. They're in plus territory going for a score. Doesn't happen. They fumble Denver ball.
John Elway opens at quarterback. Sammy Winder, the lone running back in the H-back offense. Butch Johnson in motion. There's a fumble by Elway. He'll squat down on the ball at the 36-yard line. It's kind of a sloppy start. Offensively for the Broncos, Elway at quarterback, Winder the running back. The H-back today is Jim Wright, a former tight end. Butch Johnson and Steve Watson are the wide receivers. And the offensive line, the rookie Clarence Kay at tight end. Dave Studdard, Keith Bishop back in the lineup today after a couple of weeks out with an injury. Billy Bryan, the rock of that offensive line. Paul Howard and Ken Lemire at right tackle. Elway, 9 touchdowns, only 8 interceptions for the year. And he'll throw on 2nd and 13 in the face of a Fred McNeil blitz. This is what he can do so well. Wings the ball, caught, first down at the 45-yard line of the Minnesota Vikings.
We're going to watch this again. This is the old 2-deep zone, Vern, where both this weak and strong safety divide in the halves of the field. John comes back. They have a weak side backer. McNeil comes in blitzing. John was able to use his athletic ability to get outside, spot the man downfield, unloads the ball. Butch Johnson, number 86, does a fine job of getting in that area and settling down so that John Elway could find him.
Johnson very much in the news this week with a revelation in the Dallas newspaper that he had...
revelation.
Is the word dogged it down in Houston?
That's what he said.
He said later on this week when all the publicity started, well, wait a minute. I meant, subjectively, I didn't work as hard as I should have.
Well,
Flag is down. Winder is too.
While he was dogging it, Clarence Kay, number 88, jumped off sides. You know, it's really an unfortunate thing. You talk about a guy like Butch Johnson. You get an opportunity to come into a team that's 10-1, be a part of the excitement that's generated here in Denver by them winning, and then have that kind of negative thing come out. you can't, the people can't be happy about it, the coaching, the players. Maybe the only guy that's happy about it is Butch, but I would like to think that is not so.
Well, I've known him now, I guess, about 10 years, Terry, and when we walked out to the practice field Friday and I saw 4 cameras waiting to talk to him, I knew he wasn't totally unhappy.
No, Butch kind of likes that spotlight.
Illegal motion, 88 on the offense. Defense lined up offside. The penalties will offset. We will replay the down.
Clarence Kay from Georgia, the 7th round draft choice who took over the starting spot in the 3rd game this year. And Danny Reeves said as a rookie, he is the best blocking tight end I have ever seen, and that includes Billy Joe Dupree of the Cowboys. Pretty strong praise.
It is. And he's a big, fine, looking athlete. Clarence Kay, number 88, big, strong guy. They said they didn't think he could catch the football, and they got him here, and he was catching everything thrown at him. They knew he could block.
First down, 10, Denver, no score. Opening 90 seconds of the game. We've had 2 fumbles so far. Elway to throw for the 2nd time. Screen pass, left side, Red. Right on the money, and that's for a loss. Sammy Winder with the catch. Doug Martin is back in the starting lineup today. Charlie Johnson, nose guard, and Neil Elshire. That has been the toughest problem for Minnesota, that defensive line with all the injuries. Matt Blair, Dennis Johnson, Scott Studwell, and Fred McNeil, the linebackers. And the defensive secondary, Joey Browner, Rufus Best, Tommy Hannon, and Carl Lee.
Carl Lee took over Joey Browner's spot, and then Joey Browner, and then Swain was at the left corner, and they moved him around, got Browner in there, thinking that he's such a great athlete, bound to help our football team.
2nd down, 16, no score, opening moments of the game. 4-man rush by the Vikings. Elway up in the pocket. Drills the ball to Johnson to the 42-yard line.
This is a good job once again. There was a lot of talk this week, Vern, about, well, the Denver team has had it easy in practice. They haven't had their pads on. They may spell some people, maybe not even play them. But here today we see them coming out, being aggressive. They're coming out throwing the football, which is a good indication right there that they're going to try to attack this defense and score points. And they're doing a good job of it, by the way.
3rd down and 8 with 12:15 to go. There's Les Steckel, the 38-year-old head coach of the Vikings. Shotgun formation. Elway right side into double coverage, short of the 1st down.
Oh, I don't know, Vern, the way the guy...
Think he spotted him?
Well, he ran. Well, it's going to be a little short. Probably, seeing that I have bad eyes and all, about a foot, maybe.
Steve Watson, of course, with the catch, off to another typically good year.
We're going to watch it again. As you see, Watson's on the slot. Man for man, breaks outside. Boy, there's a fine throw. Beats Rupert Best at just single coverage, and John came back. He saw that the guy was single coverage. He went to him. Boy, he drilled it in there, and Watson made a fine catch.
Watson out of Temple, now in his 6th year, and they will bring the chains from the near side of the field.
What a pleasant surprise that he has been, a free agent out of Temple, coming in here and having really 3 fine years in a row, once again leading the team in receiving. I said a foot short. That's about what she is there, partner.
See those new glasses?
I tell you what, boy, it's a whole new world when you can see, isn't it?
Here's a guy played in the National Football League, won 4 Super Bowls, and decides after he retired that he couldn't see, and has donned the glasses. There's Dan Reeves, who played in a couple of Super Bowls himself, Super Bowls 5 and 6.
They brought in now, they got Winder 23 and Paris 24 in the backfield. Dan told us that in this game, instead of a lot of the H-back where they just have Winder back there, you're going to see a lot of 2-back. We're going to be bringing 2 guys in and out and then taking 1 out and go to our H-back offense. So short yardage, 2 backs. What would you call here, but I mean, you've had so many years of quarterback experience.
Winder over Paul Howard at right guard. Want to try it?
Oh, yeah, that's good. That's good.
However, last week they did run the quarterback sneak 3 times. Elway kept it.
Okay. I'll tell you what, I'll go with the power back, the guy who really can run. I'll go with Elway. Our eye here.
4th and a foot. Winder at left guard. Big hole.
Oh, good job there.
First down at the 26.
Right over Keith Bishop, number 54, the left guard. Boy, did a fine job. Stuttered 70 the tackle. Boy, they got a good ball. They really came off, got underneath these guys, and really just accelerated off the ball. Watch it again, folks. You see 23 Winder in the tailback. You see the left side of the line go out, kick out. Good job by Paris that time. Kicking out, leading up inside on the linebacker, giving a nice hole for Winder to get the first down.
11:10 to go first quarter. No score. First threat of the game. Double tight end set this time with Winder the only setback. Pitch out and a sweep to the left. Inside the 20 near the 18. Fred McNeil made the tackle. Sammy Winder might get a little bit of a rest this week. He had a great start this year and is currently number 3 in the AFC in rushing. But the last 2 weeks, his productivity has fallen well off. 25 yards and 37 yards in the wins over New England and San Diego. And he said Friday in the locker room, he's just tired. That the 5-quarter victory over Los Angeles 3 weeks ago really took a lot out of him and many of his teammates.
You know, he's not your typical single-back runner. He's only 190 pounds as compared to Riggins and those guys who are 230 and 240, so he can't take the pound, and it's having its toll on him now.
Second down, 2. Winder again to the 13-yard line, and that should be enough for the first down, depending on the spot. Scott Studwell, number 55, made the tackle. Buffalo still leading Dallas. What a shocker that would be as the Bills going after their first victory of the year. Greg Bell with 2 touchdowns. A final now. The Giants have defeated St. Louis, so the Cardinals, who looked so hot 3 weeks ago, have lost 3 in a row, and Philadelphia has knocked off Washington, so that is a 4-way tie.
Who would have believed it?
In the NFC East.
And look at this. Green Bay 31, Rams 6, and I guess you would call that an upset. I don't know the way the Packers are playing.
And Cleveland pounds the Atlanta Falcons 23-7. Third win of the year for Cleveland. 3 seconds to go on the clock. Elway will have to use a timeout.
One of the problems they had last year with John was the fact that as they were waiting on the guards to bring the plays in, they were getting a lot of these delay of games, and once again they were a little slow getting the play in. 3 seconds down on the 30-second clock, he calls timeout.
Howard, Chicago, when the team was blank 27-0. They came on a DEPA-CLE. Came back on a Sunday night to beat Cleveland, blank Kansas City. Then a big win over the Raiders here when the ground game helped them win. Then 10 turnovers and a win over Detroit. Green Bay, the Monday night snowstorm, you all remember, a big win over Buffalo. The overtime win over Los Angeles, and then against New England, the Patriots driving for what appeared to be the winning field goal when Mosey Tutupu fumbled, and Dennis Smith picked it up and went 64 yards for the winning touchdown. 9 games in a row, but they've had to come from behind in many of them. Elway, draw play. Gerald Wilhite. Now let's see if we get the touchdown somersault. The spike. Oh. Wilhite, the former #1 draft choice from San Jose State, gets his second TD of the year.
Well, this is the H-back theory. Get a man in motion, get strength declared, come back. It's a little simple draw. Good blocking by the line. Nothing fancy there. Just a really good job. Wilhite did a fine job of just exploding up in there and getting the 6.
But we got neither the spike nor the somersault.
We got the fake everything, didn't we?
Rich Carlos for the extra point. Missed 2 weeks ago. Gets this one. Wilhite and Winder, the ground game working well for the Denver Broncos. It's something they wanted to work on today because it's been non-existent in the last 2 weeks. But they get the first touchdown of the day. It comes with 9:29 to go in the first quarter. Went 60 yards in 9 plays. For the 20th fumble recovery of the 1984 season, the Broncos go 60 yards in 9 plays. Wilhite from 13 yards to give Denver a 7-0 lead with 9:29 to go first quarter. Rich Carlos on to kick it off. Last time to open the game, Darren Nelson returned it 45 yards. He's back with Alfred Anderson. Nice high kick by Carlos. Anderson hesitates again. Now will he pay the price? Indeed he will.
He who hesitates is what? He's lost.
That sounds like Bradshaw 1974.
That's right. Well, this is just a clear-cut example right there. The ball's high, the coverage is down there on top of him. Just take it in there, sit down on it, and hold it.
Great college football coming your way Thanksgiving weekend on CBS Sports. It all begins with the NFL today on Thanksgiving Day. Willie Davis and Max McGee, champions on and off the field. That begins at 12 Eastern time. And that will be followed by the Green Bay Packers, who are really on a roll, and the Detroit Lions, who were defeated with 2 seconds remaining by the Chicago Bears today. But Detroit trying to get things back on track, and they always provide a lot of entertainment on Thanksgiving Day.
Hey, they're hard to beat on Turkey Day, I'm telling you now.
1st and 10, Minnesota. Pitch out. Alfred Anderson, no gain.
Smith, strong safety. Well, I tell you, they really support well, these guys. Anderson comes outside, a little toss. Boy, the safeties come up and do a good job. flying all over the field. This is that defense that everybody kind of says, gee whiz, these guys are ranked way down there about 25th, 27th, but yet they're number one in points allowed.
Terry, I remember back in here's the defensive line. We'll get to the point in a minute. Jim Ryan, Rick Dennison, Steve Busick, and Tom Jackson, the linebackers. Wright, Harden, Smith, and Foley in the defensive secondary. Second down, 9. Inside give, Ted Brown to the 15-yard line. Brown had lost his starting spot earlier in the season to Darren Nelson, but then gained it back about 4 weeks ago. The point I was going to make is I remember back in 1968, Tom Landry getting ready to play the Cleveland Browns in the playoffs, set up the Brown defense there like a rubber band. They bend, but they never break. He took a lot of flack for that, and yet we see that defensive philosophy about go ahead, give up the yards between the 20s, and it works quite well.
Just keep him out of the end zone.
Play soft and then nose down on the 20-yard line. Dwight Collins is in the lineup now. Third down, 5. Kramer audibling at the line. Playing with a shoulder harness because of the separated shoulder. Inside give up the middle. That'll be short of the first down. Jim Ryan made the tackle. There it is. Points allowed seems to me to be the most significant stat you can think of.
Well, if you can keep a team from scoring touchdowns, scoring points, and your football team can do anything at all offensively, you're going to win football games. Yes, they do give up a lot of yardage. People go up and down the field on them. Hey, they don't give up points, and that's the key to it. You bet. That is the key ingredient right there in winning football.
See how many yards they have given up here. Vikings appear to be short of the first down. About a foot again.
Another one of those foots.
Well, you look at that Denver defense. They've given up 360 yards per game. They're number 25 in the league. They're 27th against the pass and 10th against the rush, and yet first in points allowed. Greg Coleman on to punt. 7-0. Denver leads. Gerald Wilhite back to return it. He waits at the 35-yard line. In the azure blue skies of a gorgeous Colorado
day. I love that. Azure blue.
And you wondered why I moved the Steamboat. Coleman back at the 5.
This azure blue could be snowing in about 30 minutes.
True. Wilhite from the 38. Down at the 44-yard line. Maurice Turner, number 24, down to make the tackle. 43-yard punt, a return of 7. And a hang time of 4 seconds flat. Wilhite with the only touchdown that capped a 60-yard drive in 9 plays after Kramer and his center Grant Fiesel, who is starting his first game, by the way, misfired on the first play off from offense of the game. Now we've got a penalty down. Referee today is Chuck Heberling. And here's his explanation of what this is all about.
Now, wait a minute.
Nope.
No,
wrong.
It's against, wrong side, wrong team. Okay, point this way. Look, there you are. Got it over here. Thank you.
Unnecessary roughness, number 49 on the receiving team. First down.
That's Dennis Smith, strong safety.
Well, those strong safeties, those guys are known to put their head in there, be a little aggressive. I guess Dennis did it, and, they just said, you're not supposed to be like that, Dennis. We'll throw a flag on you, and they did. There he is, sitting on the sideline, a little upset with himself, as you can very well see, right?
Doesn't appear to be unnecessarily aggravated.
Coach, I just threw my elbow up there like that, and I just happened to hit him on the point of my elbow and cut his chin a little bit. Gee whiz, I'm sorry.
7:28 to go first half. Broncos get the ball for the second time. Steve Watson comes wide to the left side. Rick Parris and Sammy Winder in a split-back offense. Now they wind up in the eye. Winder near the 28-yard line, and Doug Martin, number 79, made the tackle. Doug Martin has had a bad ankle most of the year and said last night, Terry, that he's playing at about 75%. And he particularly was not looking forward to his battle today with Ken Lanier.
He told me, he said, I don't really like playing against this guy. Well, I thought they had something going on since college days or something. Point was, we're about the same size. He said, and I have a hard time with guys that are the same size as I am. If they're tall, then I can get my hands underneath them and get leverage on them. But this guy's the same time, and I have a little trouble with these guys.
Second down, 6. 6:50 to go, first quarter, 7-0 Broncos. Winder again with Rick Parris in front. Got a brush block from Parris, and he's out to the 30-yard line. Scott Studwell made the tackle.
going to take a look at Martin, number 79, the defensive left end for the Vikings. Watch as he comes off, engages, gets around him, gets cut right after the line of scrimmage, but that's what we're talking about. Guys about the same size, fires out on him, engages him, keeps him from making the pursuit. I'll tell you something funny happened that time. Paul Howard, the right guard, number 60, blocked his own guy when he pulled, just caved him in.
3rd and 4, 7-0, 6:12 to go, first quarter. Power back, Elway fires it out, tipped away, Joey Browner. Number 1 draft choice of a year ago, number 47, it'll be 4th down. Browner was moved from safety to cornerback just a couple of weeks ago and seems to have settled in now.
Well, as we see here, he really does a fine job of breaking on the ball, and this pass is coming pretty doggone fast, but they couldn't find a spot for him. Carl Leaf had beaten him out at free safety, so they moved him around and finally placed him at cornerback, where he has really been aggressive and played the ball as you just saw.
Chris Norman on to punt for the first time with a 40-yard average, long of 83 earlier this year. And Darren Nelson is the middleman of 3 back to return the kick. 6:06 to go first quarter, 7-0 Denver leads. Hoping to stay 2 in front of Seattle. That's an end-over-end kick taken by Nelson. Started with a fair catch and then brought his arm down. Gets as far as the 41-yard line. Tackle is made by number 55, Rick Dennison, one of the starting linebackers for the Broncos. We're midway through the first quarter. Broncos lead it 7-0. It is a perfect day for football, but it wouldn't matter. The folks would be here. They come in all kinds of weather. We have the 107th consecutive sellout of a Bronco game, in excess of 75,000 here today, as the Broncos host the Minnesota Vikings. Only the 4th time these two teams have met. Minnesota leads the series 2-1. The last meeting was here, and Denver won that in 1981, 19-17. Tommy Kramer, 20th ranked. Last year, of course, out with the knee ligament problem for the duration of 83 after the 3rd game. Came back, shoulder separation 3.5 games ago. Really starting all over. Relief valve intercepted. Picked off by the linebacker, Jim Ryan, number 50. That's his first of the year. It was deflected off the shoulder of the tight end, Steve Jordan, and this amazing turnover story for the Broncos continues.
This is just a classic example of having everyone covered. Tommy comes back, takes his key, look, nope, covered. Little pressure there, but not much. Moves outside, tries to dump the ball off to his tight end, Steve Jordan. Misses, hits him on the shoulder pad. Jim Ryan, number 50, picks it off.
Ryan has got to feel like he's finally going to be welcomed into the club. That's his first interception, but the 26th by the Broncos this year. 26. Only Seattle has more. Watson in motion. Elway play fake. Alternate receiver settles deep. Tip caught. Watson inside the 10 at the 8.
I'm going to tell you what, Steve Watson did a fine job of staying in the lane to catch that pass. We're going to give a lot of credit to John Elway for holding his cool. But the thing really that set this apart was the offensive line. They gave him a lot of time to throw the football. Steve Watson, number 81, as you can see, Johnson down the middle, clearing out the seam. Watson coming down behind the linebackers, floats in the seams of the zone, sets down, and once again, the offensive line gave John Elway all the time in the world. He must have gone 1, 2, 3 receivers, came back to Watson, hit him right over the middle, big gainer.
Watson and Johnson both go wide right. 5:01 remaining in the first quarter, 7-0 Denver, but they are threatening with a 1st and goal. Split backs again. Johnson is the motion man this time. Elway into the flat. Winder, 6. It has been the story of 1984. Turnovers converted to points. Again, it happens.
All right, once again, they had motion. They brought Watson inside, picked the guy off. The linebacker's coverage on Winder. He's no one in sight. Catches the football, nobody there, touchdown. Easy. Makes it look easy anyway.
Rich Carlist for his 2nd point of the day. Got it.
you do a lot of motion at the goal line to get people crossing over, tripping over one another. As you can see, Butch comes in motion. Now, he'll go inside. Actually, see what he's doing? He picks off Studwell, 55, the linebacker. Gets in his lane so he can't cover Winder coming out of the backfield. That's illegal, but it works. I love it. Touchdown.
I thought it was the pick play. I also thought it was legal. It's also 14-0. 4:47 to go first quarter. Vern Lundquist and Terry Bradshaw here at Mile High Stadium. 14-0 already. A fumble recovered by the Broncos, and the first Minnesota offensive snap converted to a touchdown. Pass interception also converted to a touchdown. Alfred Anderson from the 5 to the 25, and he was within an ankle tackle of getting about 20 more. Well, we talked about the importance of turnovers. Takeaways so far this year. The Broncos have taken away the ball 46 times and converted that into 126 points. They have lost the ball or given it away 19, and they have given up only 33 points. That's accounted, Terry, for 50% of their scoring.
Well, you know, this is something you dream about. These things, you can preach it, and I don't think you can coach this. You can work on techniques that can help create fumbles and interceptions. But boy, this is something really unusual. You hardly ever see it happen.
We'll talk about that aspect of the game in just a bit, because Dan Reeves really went at length to explain his philosophy of it to us on Friday. Here's Kramer back to throw again. Looks deep, has to settle short, and then can't get anything.
Something very interesting that happened that time was number 55, Rick Dennison. And talking to him yesterday, he said, we're going to move around. I'm going to blitz a little bit. I'll be on the outside and on the inside. And why they do that, folks, is because they want to confuse the offensive line blocking of the Vikings. That time, he stood up. Then he ran and got on the outside and got down in a tackle position and rushed. And all that does is confuse the line blocking, as evidenced by that sack.
We have a new nose guard in for the Denver Broncos. Scott Garnett, the rookie 8th-round draft choice from Washington, has replaced Reuben Carter. And Barney Chavis is not starting today. Walt Boyer, 2nd-round pick from Arizona State, is on the defensive line along with Rulon Jones. 2nd down, 13. Mike Jones in motion, and Kramer drops back to throw. Settles for a pass in the flat this time, but it doesn't get anything. Alfred Anderson hit by Louis Wright. I know you talked with Louis Wright about the much publicized conversation he had with Dan Reeves in training camp, to the effect that Louis felt Dan ought to know he's not really perceived like he thought he was.
Well, I think Dan answered that in the pregame talk where he said, you know, I thought I was doing and presenting myself one way when actually I wasn't. Louis Wright went in, being the veteran and being the guy that's their spokesman, went in and said, well, look, now here's how you got to do this thing. You're not doing this thing right, and we don't particularly like it, and the players don't like you. Dan said, they don't like me. Well, let's change it. And they changed it, and they're 10-1.
And among other things he has done is try to quiet down on the sidelines. He used to get a little agitated.
I know I'd have a hard time quietening down on the sidelines, wouldn't I?
Yes, you would. You'd be hollering to get back in. 3rd and 13. Swing pass to Ted Brown. Block is missed. Wright misses the tackle, however. And Brown is close for the first down. Looks like he's going to be a yard short at the 34-yard line.
You look at him. Ted's a little upset. Doggone it, I can't believe it. I'm one foot shy, and if they are 1 foot shy, he really will do a little hooting and hollering. You know, one thing you try to do as an offensive football team is you run a lot of plays, and people say, why are they doing this? Well, what they're doing is trying to get a read on people, trying to set people up. That's a little swing pass. And talking to their offensive coordinator, Bob Leahy, offensive coordinator, I know he appreciate that. Anyway, you know, he said, look for a little swing pass. It's going to be a lateral. We're going to do a little gadget pass later on. So maybe they're setting that up. We can look for it later, Vern.
That'll bring up a 4th down for the Vikings, who are having their problems moving the ball, and the punting unit comes on again. Look at Les Steckel on the far sideline. Just a quick point about this turnover business with the Broncos. Dan said 2 years ago, during the strike season, they were 2-7 and they were minus 16 in turnovers. And he said, we got to do something about this. They decided 2 years ago to spend 5 days in practice working on turnovers and offensive tackling. He would have his offensive people tackling, his quarterback tackling, in case there was a turnover to prevent the score, and conversely would have his defensive players
learning how to run with
the football. And they spent 5 minutes at it before every practice, and now they do it 2 minutes before every practice.
Can't you just see those quarterbacks tackling?
I got a vision of you trying that. 4th and 1. Line drive kick, but a good one. Will Hyde over the shoulder catch at the 13. And he's down at the 26-yard line. Denver gets the ball back, and they've got a 14-0 lead with 2:46 to go in the first quarter of play. after his team gave up 28 unanswered points in the final 27 minutes against Green Bay last week. And emotional Viking coach Les Steckel said he thought he had 6 or 8 men who quit on him. He went back that night, studied the film, decided he was wrong, and apologized to the team Monday morning. And I think there's still some residual anger over that if what we hear from some of the players is true, but nonetheless Steckel did apologize. Here's Winder from Elway, who completes his 7th pass and gets it out to the 31-yard line. Les, of course, in his first year as a head coach, and he wants to do things his way. And I suppose that kind of thing, in the emotion of losing a game like that, Terry, can happen where you just an outburst like that.
What he's done, he set his policies down. It's going to take a while for the older veterans to accept them. Obviously, some of them don't. The younger people more readily will because they're new to it. But the older guys resented some of the things that he said last week. And like you said, it's an emotional thing that comes out of a coach, out of the frustrating season he's had.
That happens when you're 3-8 and doesn't when you're 10-1. Then all of a sudden your players like you. 2nd down 4. Winder. Oh, is he having a good first quarter, huh? He's a kid who thought he might need some rest today.
I tell you, this was made possible, really. Paul Howard, number 60, the right guard, did a good job of leading inside. But look at 70 Studdard. Dave Studdard out of Texas coming in down inside, pushing, sealing off. 88 coming down inside, sealing off, and then Winder doing a fine job of running with the football.
Tom Hannon, number 45, made the tackle, but I think you saw the good block from Paul Howard, the 11-year veteran guard, number 60. I remember him on Christmas Eve here taking a shot from Mean Joe Green, remember, 1977?
He took a dandy, didn't he?
1st and 10. That was in the playoff game when Denver beat Pittsburgh. Wilhite to throw. Deep for Johnson in double coverage, incomplete.
I'll tell you one thing, it wasn't completed, but boy, that was about as pretty a pass as a guy can throw. Tight little spiral, nice little move getting outside and setting things up nicely. Gets everybody loose. You know, these things can create a certain amount of fear in part of the secondary when they don't know whether the guy's going to run with the football or throw it. That time he threw her.
Saw John Elway looking at the sidelines. One of the changes Dan Reeves has made in order to facilitate getting the plays in and out and off the snap count quicker is to flash the plays in. And Elway is getting the plays from Gary Kubiak and Scott Brunner, the injured reserve quarterback, on the sidelines this year. Second-year man is having a pretty good start. It's 14-0 Denver with 1:10 to go first quarter. Draw play. Rick Paris. Block is not made, but it wasn't needed. And Paris is loose down the sidelines and out of bounds at the 29. Offensive line is doing some job.
I'll tell you, this is one of those old cross-book actions. Paris number 24, as you're going to see, John comes out there in 2 backs, comes back, little delayed handoff, good lead, blocked that time by Wilder, goes outside, sets up, 39, Carl comes over. Carl Lee, number 39, free safety, comes over, makes the tackle. But these guys are just blowing them off the football. Nothing coming from the Vikings so far. Everything's coming from the Broncos.
The complaints one has heard in recent weeks is about the ineffectiveness of the offense. There will be none this afternoon if this keeps up. Here's Paris again. Rufus Best, number 21, and Chris Martin, number 56, were part of the tackle.
Well, they are spelling Paris, not Paris, but Winder some this week and running Wilhite 47, Paris 24. They're going to move these guys in and out.
They're going to a split back offense. Why are they doing that?
Well, they're doing that to really they're trying to give a break to Winder. He's in the H back, or you have one back in the backfield, and that's Winder. And he's the guy that's going to carry the football. In the 2 back, they can set him in there and use him as a decoy and run the other guy.
2nd down, 7, final half minute, first quarter, 14-0 Denver. Watson in motion. Elway looks for Johnson. He's not open. Now watch the freelance.
He got him in the middle.
Receivers can adjust. Look at the throw. Pay you tribute, former number 12. You're one of the few guys who could have made that kind of throw.
Well, I don't know about that, but this guy, number 7, Elway, he's made tremendous progress. You know, the thing I like right there, the thing I like to see is the slapping of the hands, a part of the team, the camaraderie. The guy's gaining his confidence. The team is getting confidence in him. And these guys are going out today in a game that everybody thought they would sit down a little bit, and boy, they're taking it to the Vikings.
Carlos to make it 21-0. It's done.
This was just an outstanding job by John Elway, number 7, and then 81, Steve Watson, the wide receiver. As you can see, John comes back. He's trying to get the ball over to 86, Butch Johnson. He's covered, feels a little pressure, moves outside, moves back inside, and while he's doing all this, Watson, 81, had come in behind the safeties, drifted over the middle. Elway spotted him and fired the football in there. Look at that. There you go.
There had been expectation that Elway might be ready to explode. Perhaps this is the day.
I tell you, there's nothing more exciting for a young quarterback to throw touchdown passes. Here's a young man that came into this league with a lot of pressure on him. And by God, this is his second TD pass. Look at this. Yeah, give me 5. There's 5 for you. Thank you. Give me some. There you are. Thank you. 5 more. Everybody's slapping. Boy, that is a great feeling.
Rich Carlos to kick. Alfred Anderson and Darren Nelson to return for the 4th time in the first quarter. They'll go to Anderson again. That is a tough catch looking directly up into the sun, and Anderson's on the roll. Still going to the 35-yard line. Second good return by the Vikings today.
Boy, did it. Super
But that is
job.
about all they have had going for them. That's the end of the first quarter. Elway with 2 touchdown tosses has led Denver to a 21-point lead. On Elway with 2 touchdown tosses, now 8 out of 9 for 96 yards. Vikings trail 21-0. We begin the second quarter from Mile High Stadium with Terry Bradshaw. I'm Vern Lundquist. Tommy Kramer to throw again. Hasn't had the kind of success that Elway has, but here's Leo Lewis. The tiny Mike gets a great block from Mike Jones. And he's run out of bounds. We might get a late hit on Dennis Smith in the Viking bench, but there is no flag thrown. Kramer is, I think, asking about that right now.
I'll tell you, if there's one person out there that's going to fight a little bit, this old boy, number 9, Tommy Kramer, he is a gutsy guy. We're going to see Leo Lewis, number 87, gets out of bounds. What? Man, oh, man. Dennis Smith, number 49, really lowered the boom about 5 yards out of bounds. Definitely should have been a flag called.
Could have been his second for unsportsmanlike conduct, but he got away with it. 1st and 10 from the 48. That is the first Viking first down of the game. They trail 21-0. Anderson, the 3rd-round draft choice from Baylor, in motion. Kramer across the middle. Caught by Dwight Collins, the rookie from Pittsburgh, only his 3rd catch this year.
I tell you, this football team, the Viking football team, you don't have to give this team an excuse to throw the football, Vern. Now they're behind. Now you're going to really see this football in the air. But, hey, these guys don't need to get behind to throw the football. They need no excuses. They're going to chunk it. Dwight Collins, 84.
Dennis Smith with a wrist injury of some sort has come with Steve Antonopoulos, the trainer.
May have hurt himself when he lowered the boom on Leo Lewis out of bounds a while ago.
Rookie Randy Robbins, number 48, has taken Smith's place in the defensive secondary. Kramer now 4 out of 5 for 41 yards. There's
Randy Robbins, number 48.
4th-round draft choice from Arizona. Mike Jones in motion. Kramer back to throw again. Good protection, but he slips. Lets it go. Alfred Anderson bounces off a tackle. Good job. He gave Steve Busick a shot.
I'm going to tell you something now. This old guy, number 46, this is the guy they picked up in the 3rd round out of Baylor. Alfred Anderson, number 46, does a good job. As Tommy comes back, you're going to see him slip. Comes back, slip a little bit, Tommy. There you are, a little slip. Comes up, doesn't have time to read the coverage. Spots Anderson, gets him the football. Now watch this. Here, take that, you 2 big guys. Now, you want some of it? Bam, there you go. Man.
I tell you, it was Tom Jackson who took more of the blow than did Steve Busick. 1st and 10 from the 21. Vikings trying to climb back in. Anderson in motion. Kramer dropped. Dwight Collins, rookie from Pittsburgh. Louis Wright was defending.
It's 2nd down.
Vikings now have had 49 unanswered points scored on them, 28 in 27 minutes, like Green Bay after they had tied it up 17-17, and 21 in the first quarter here. There's Steve Riley, big number 78, who had been playing for more than a month with a broken thumb, got the cast removed this week and is back at his accustomed spot at left tackle. And he goes up against Rulon Jones of the Broncos. Joe Sensor is in it as a double tight end. They fake the draw play, half roll. Now Ted Brown is open down the sideline at the 5. Touchdown! You were told to expect a little dipsy-doodle.
I guarantee you now, this football team needs no excuse to throw the football. And if there's one football team that knows how to mix things up, a lot of trickery, fakery, guys running all over the football field, this football team does. As you're going to see, Tommy comes out, a little cross bug, a little play action, drifts to the right, makes a setup. He had the tight end coming across, center was wide open, turns around, fires back. Number 23, Teddy Brown, right there. Good catch, touchdown. Now watch the left side. 83 down through there, picks up Rulon. Look at Rulon Jones trying to come inside 75. No good. Steve Riley, 78, did a good job of hitting him one time, picking himself up and hitting him again.
Jan Stenerud, the ageless wonder, he is on to try the extra point. Bad snap. Good hold.
Kick.
Yes, Greg Coleman did a good job.
These guys kick it better when they fumble it.
So the Vikings have gotten on the board. 13:41 to go in the first half. It's 21-7 Denver. 87 seconds, and the quick-scoring Vikings finally have gotten on the board. They trail 21-7. Here's Stenerud with a kick. Gene Lang and Zach Thomas, the two deep men. This will be Gene Lang in the sunlight. And he will run it out, the rookie from LSU. Watch out. Maurice Turner, number 24, caught up with him at the 34-yard line. Grant Fiesel is the new center, and he's had problems today. Watch the deep snap, Terry Bradshaw,
Well,
extra point.
he has trouble with the snap. The ball, as you can see, is low. Coleman reaches down, picks it up, laces. He has a laces face and yawn that time. The ball tilted forward. There we're going to say, now they're rehearsing. Look, if we do it again, if we score again, here's how I want it. Ball high, and we'll put my helmet on. There you go. Nice high. Yeah, see, he's telling him. Coleman said, good job.
Coming up next Saturday, NCAA basketball begins on CBS Sports with the Louisville Cardinals against the Indiana Hoosiers. That's live at 1 o'clock Eastern Time next Saturday on CBS. First and 10, John Elway will hand it off to Rick Parris. Spins out of a tackle and picks up a tough 2 yards.
Joey Brown at 47, good job of coming in there, supporting, feeling, and doing a good job of making a hit. Smith, 91, also feeling in, doing a good job.
Have a report from the Bronco bench. Number 49, Dennis Smith, has a pinched nerve in his hand, and we do not know whether or not he'll be back in the lineup. Hero of the win over New England 2 weeks ago when he picked up a fumble caused by Steve Busick on Mosi Tatupu and went 64 yards. Almost forgot the last name.
You sure did.
You know what I was thinking, honest to heaven? Tuiasosopo.
Oh.
I practice those things all the time.
You can have all them Tui names.
Here's Paris makes the catch from Elway at the 39, and Tom Hannon made the tackle.
You know, I think if there's one thing that John has done extremely well that time, on these passing routes, he has a man short in the zone and a man deep. He came out, saw the linebacker deep, said, boom, I'll just take the short pass. Really did a good job that time. Look at here.
I'm the short guy, but I'm also sitting there. See what happens when I stand up? I've grown to 6'5".
Folks, he is standing on a stool.
Nah, not a chance. Bradshaw has played 14 years in the league at 5'6". Third down and 2.
I don't appreciate those sneaky cameras coming in here in our little home. Do you, Vern?
Here's John Elway. Screen pass right side. Good job.
Oh, they're
And the
calling
ball
it
was dropped.
incomplete.
Ken Lanier went down to try and recover it.
Studwell, number 55, really did a fine job. Matt Blair, 59. You know the thing that happens when you see this, the reason this play is no good is when the linebackers come up to take the back on the screen, the quarterback has to have an option downfield because it's single coverage to go to the wide receiver. That time, John obviously didn't see Matt come up, forced the football in there, almost was a fumble.
Chris Norman on to punt for the second time. The rookie from South Carolina, probably still agonizing over what happened to his college alma mater yesterday when Navy defeated them.
How'd the old Texas Lutheran do yesterday, Vern?
Well, Jim Wacker left and went to TCU, and both schools had problems yesterday. Louisiana Tech doing well, I hope. They're in the playoffs, aren't they? They're close to it.
Who's this?
Louisiana Tech.
Oh, yeah. All the big powers are in playoffs.
Nice high kick by
Beauty.
Norman. Fair catch, Darren Nelson at the 15. Of course, this is one of the late games after the 44-yard kick by Greg Norman with a hang time of 5 seconds flat. Elsewhere today, Buffalo handed the Cowboys their 5th defeat of the year, first Buffalo win. The Giants knocked off St. Louis 16-10. They're 7-5. So is St. Louis, so are the Cowboys. So for that matter is Washington, because Philadelphia beat them 16-10, and the Eagles, believe it or not, in 5th place in the division, are not out of it at all. Chicago, a 19-yard field goal from Bob Thomas, 2 seconds to go, and they edge Detroit 16-14. They go 8-4 for the year. Green Bay won its 4th in a row, defeating the Rams 31-6 in Milwaukee. Alfred Anderson in a power sweep to the right, looks for blocking help from Tim Irwin, number 76, and has to settle for a 4-yard gain. Also today in the NFL, Cleveland over Atlanta 23-7. Falcons are really having their problems, and Cleveland has now won 3. New England pounded the Colts 50-17. And Seattle took Cincinnati to keep the pressure on the Denver Broncos in a snowstorm in Cincinnati, 26-6. Out on the coast, San Francisco trying to win its 11th of the year with an early lead, and the Jets lead Houston 13-7 before something less than a sellout crowd in the Astrodome today. Second down, Minnesota trailing 21-7. Anderson to the 23-yard line. Andre Townsend has come in defensively as Joe Collier has made some defensive changes now. Raiders with an early lead over Kansas City in the second quarter. And Miami, of course, trying to keep the unblemished record tied with San Diego at 7-7. Defensively for Denver, Andre Townsend, Reuben Carter, and Rulon Jones up front. Steve Wilson has come in at cornerback. First time he's played in a couple of games. Number 45, see him on the left side of your screen. And Randy Robbins is also in. Third down, 2, 10.5 to go in the first half. Anderson, dead.
Reuben Carter, boy, they had this baby smelled out, didn't they?
And that'll make it 4th and 2. Andre Townsend was there second, but Reuben Carter, number 68, made the tackle.
I tell you, sometimes you can outsmart yourself, but Reuben Carter act like he was in their huddle that time. Boy, he just flew past Feasel that time and made the sack on 46, Anderson.
One of the soft spots for the Vikings today, because their best lineman, Jim Huff, has played only 2 games this year, and he is now on injured reserve. Ron Sams, whom they acquired from Green Bay on waivers, had played a couple of games there. He's out with a hip pointer. So Grant Feasel, who was acquired on waivers from the Colts, is the new center, and he's over the ball to snap right now. Good snap. A little bit of pressure, and it was blocked. The ball was touched. Flag is down near side.
Now, isn't this amazing? What happens? They blocked it. Then they hit it. Then the Broncos hit the football, came in, touched the football, didn't down the football. Then the Vikings recovered it and took off downfield. Boy, this will be interesting to see how they rule it.
Unraveling time. Ricky Hundley, the rookie from Arizona, signed in mid-season after the acquisition from Cincinnati was in on the play. Want to guess how they're going to...
Oh, man. I'll tell you, I never was too good at, when we played, when everybody was touching the football, I never could follow this thing about the impetus of the kick, took it in the end zone, back out to the 20, or he touched it, you can't advance. I never was too hip on those kind of things, but that football was definitely touched by the Denver Broncos after they blocked it, after they blocked the kick. Then the Vikings picked it off and took off with it, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens. I don't believe you can advance. You can't advance it. So the ball's going to be dead. It's not going to be where he was tackled. It's going to be dead somewhere around the 30-yard line. Now, whether or not they're going to give that football back to the Vikings remains to be seen. I don't imagine they will. Okay, we're going to watch the block. Ricky Hundley, number 98, is going to come flying through right by Studwell. Scott steps up to block him, but he missed him. And then Ricky just comes through and just had a free shot. And Coleman got his hands up, blocked the kick. Now, see it hit there. Hit one of the Denver Broncos folks.
And Fred McNeil's got it.
54, Fred McNeil picks it up and takes off down the field with it. So let's see what happens.
Well, while they continue this conversation, let's talk about something interesting on Ricky Hundley. Well, here, we'll get to that in a minute. I think Chuck Eberling is going to let us know what happened.
Vikings football is what's going to happen. Let's see.
There is no flag on the play. The ball was partially blocked. First touch by Denver downfield. Recovered by Minnesota. It is Minnesota's ball.
There you go.
Okay, that's the key. It was touched downfield by Denver. That's why.
Right. Okay, we're going to see once again. Studwell steps up to block Hundley. Hundley misses him or gets by him. He gets inside, gets a piece of the football right here. All right, that ball is blocked, but the ball goes past the line of scrimmage, okay? Now, as the old football comes floating down to the ground, it's going to hit one of the Denver Bronco people. There There's the old shot right in the back. Hits Steve Wilson right in the back there, right corner, who has come in on this play. Hits him again. Then McNeil picks the football up and advances in Vikings football.
There's Ricky Hundley, who had the block. We've got the play about to start, but I want to tell you something about Hundley on the special teams here in just a second. First down and 10.
Well, I tell you, these Bronco fans are stomping the stands. They didn't particularly appreciate that call. I'm a little nervous. I'm not too secure up here.
Anderson coming left, being chased by Dennis.
Fumble.
Wilson is there. I think he has. He does. He was a free agent from Howard University who made the Dallas Cowboys as a wide receiver, then was switched to defensive back, then back to wide receiver, then to defensive back. He lost his job to Everson Walls. Danny Reeves wanted him and has him.
All right, here it is. It's just got both guards pulling. You see Dennison, number 55, chases him. Anderson gets a hold of Anderson, strips him of the football. Then Wilson, 45, comes over the top and makes the play. Watch it again. Good job by Dennison, 55. See him chase him, swings the arm around, knocks the football out, and Wilson, 45, recovers the fumble.
How the fortunes turn. First time he's been back in 2.5 games. Just had the ball hit him in the back and then recovers the fumble. Elway will go deep on first down. If there's anybody there. No, there's not, so Clarence Kay has the catch.
I asked Dan Reeves about Clarence Kay, and he said, you know, we heard there was a good tight end down in Georgia, but the guy never had caught any footballs. Well, he caught 50 footballs for over 700-something yards while at Georgia, and Dan said, gosh, we knew the guy could block. Great blocker. Go down there, they bring him into camp, throw a few passes to him. Boy, he's snagging those babies with one hand, diving for him. He says, look what I got. Got him a rookie starting tight end is what he's got. Good job that time.
Beat out Jim Wright in the third game of the year. First down and 10. Broncos lead 21-7. 8:50 to go in the half. Pitch out. Winder. Not much there, out of bounds at the 20. I want to get back and make my point about Ricky Hundley, who had the block at the punt, and it's simply this. If it is true that in his negotiations with the Cincinnati Bengals, he had a demand that he not play on special teams, then obviously when agreement was reached with the Denver Broncos, that was not part of the contract, because he's in there on special teams and in there quite evidently.
Well, if you're going to keep that Mercedes-Benz, you're going to have to play on those special teams now. I'm telling you, you know, I'd gladly play on special teams if I can keep my apartment in the Mercedes.
Does that hold true for quarterbacks as well?
I guess so.
They make that demand out of you? Second down, Elway to throw. Looks deep for Kay, goes left side deep in the end zone for Johnson. Touchdown.
Beautiful.
That's 3 today for John Elway.
Once again, this is just as superb blocking by his offensive line. Give John a lot of time to sit in there. He spots Johnson, who gets behind Best, number 21. Does a fine job of getting in there, and the ball drops right in for a touchdown.
Rich Carlos out of Chris Norman's hole. 28-7 with 8:32. We did not expect an offensive explosion today, but that is indeed what we have gotten. Two weeks ago against New England, John Elway had his biggest day of the year, 315 yards, and Butch Johnson had 9 of those catches for 156 and 2 touchdowns. He's off to a quick start today with 3 catches for 47 yards. The Broncos now have recovered 2 fumbles, intercepted a pass. All 3 turnovers have gone for touchdowns, and they are plus 28 in the turnover ratio for the year.
You know, you come in here and you say this football team is a lucky football team, and I'm going to tell you something. You create that today. They've certainly created it.
Darren Nelson gets the catch. It'll be a touchback and come out to the 20-yard line. Coming up next week on the NFL, the Los Angeles Rams or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the first game of our doubleheader. Eric Dickerson, of course, has an outside chance to break O.J. Simpson's record if he can average 140 yards per game for the remainder of the season. And Los Angeles and Tampa meet next week. And then the second game of the doubleheader, most of you will be seeing the 49ers against the New Orleans Saints. Terry and I will be down in New Orleans for that game. Or some of you will see the Vikings at home against the Chicago Bears, who won today on a 19-yard Bob Thomas field goal with 2 seconds remaining in the game against Detroit.
Dickerson had 132 yards rushing today, Vern, so he's still right in that chase.
Kramer over the middle to his tight end. That's out to the 29-yard line. That'll be a yard short of the first down. Steve Jordan with the catch and Steve Foley with the tackle.
Steve Jordan's been an interesting, I guess, tight end for these Vikings. They've had trouble, of course, with losing Sinzer with a foot problem, but, you know, he's having the best year of a Viking tight end since 1981, Vern. He's got 31 catches this year for 350 yards and a couple of TDs, and right there did a fine job of getting in the zone, sitting down, and Kramer popped him with a football.
Just under 8 minutes to go in the first half. 2nd and 1, Minnesota. Anderson has the first down. Our score is 28-7, Denver leading. Now let's go to Brent Musburger in New York for an update.
All right, Vern, here it is. The San Francisco 49ers. Joe Montana handing it off to Freddie Solomon for the 3-yard run. And the 49ers are beating Tampa now rather easily. Let's go back to Vern and Brad.
Vern and Brad?
I just shortened it. 28-7, Denver leading. Brad as in Shaw, right?
That's all right. Brad is in Shaw.
Darren Nelson is into the lineup. He's an unhappy young man. He played only one offensive down last week, and he was in as a designated pass receiver. Said he didn't know what was going on. Gets the pitch out now and a block from Anderson. And the former #1 choice from Stanford is out near the 38-yard line. Scott Garnett, who was in at nose guard, made the tackle.
You know, I want you to take a look at the left tackle, number 78, Steve Riley. Whoops, we got an injury. There he is. We got an injured man down on the field.
That's Scott Garnett, number 66, who just made the tackle.
Well, Reuben Carter, the guy that starts at nose tackle, number 68, comes in. He has a bruised elbow, and so I'm sure this is the reason why Scott's been able to play so much today already. Now he appears to have an injury.
Well, timeout has been called. It's 7:09 remaining in the first half of play.
This is the dawn of a new kind of automotive thinking. Forward thinking that refuses to accept the idea that anything with 4 doors is by definition boring.
You're going to get injured in this game by tackling the other people, but when your own fella hits you, well, gosh, that's something else. As you can see, number 57, Tom Jackson comes inside and gets a helmet right under Scott Garnett's right shoulder pad and kind of gets him in the ribs. So I guess Vern got a rib shot there.
Or perhaps somebody fell on his knee after the rib shot because he got off limping a little bit with the left knee. But we'll get a report from the bench as quickly as can. In the meanwhile, we have a report that Dennis Smith has gone for x-rays on his hand. 2nd down and 4. 6:50 to go in the first half. 28-7 Denver. Kramer has some time. Relief valve pass to Ted Brown to the 43-yard line.
Now, you know, in contrasting here, you can see that Tommy doesn't have quite the mobility that Elway does. When he came out that time, if he just stayed a little bit longer that time, then he would have been able to pick up the flanker coming out across the middle, Jones, but he wasn't. He moved around, popped the ball to Teddy Brown. There's Smith. I understand he's been checked out for his wrist to see if he's all right. Got his pads off, telling the players how he did it.
Played in the defensive secondary with Ronnie Lott at USC. That's not a couple of good ones, huh?
Not bad.
First down and 10. Split backs for the Vikings. 2 wide receivers to the right side. Mike Jones starts in motion. Blitz. Kramer reads it, goes across the middle, almost intercepted, as Mike Jones was popped in the back by Randy Robbins and by Steve Foley.
Watch number 31, Mike Harden, come off the corner. As you can see, he comes outside. Steve Jordan doesn't quite know which one to take. He says, let the outside guy go. I'll pick up the inside. And that's what you want to do as a quarterback. The guy that's the most dangerous for an offensive lineman is the guy that's on the inside. He has the quickest shot to the quarterback. You have to pick him off. Steve came out, almost took the outside guy, said, whoop, inside guy's dangerous. I'll take him, and did a good job that time.
2nd down, 10. Back split once again. Leo Lewis too far wide right. Steve Wilson covering on the play. That'll bring up a 3rd down and 10.
This Leo Lewis, number 87, is really quite a character. He's caught 30-something passes for 500 yards. You know, he's averaging 18 yards a catch. And, you know, I was picking at him last night for being short, but I'll tell you what, he said those duper super guys down in Miami, by golly, if they can do it, I can do it. He said they design plays for those guys, Vern, to get them deep, you know, and to get the touchdowns. And you kind of think I wish they'd designed something like that for me. But he says, I like going over the middle. I like catching passes. He said, I love this offense.
Well, now, when you asked him if he went over the middle and liked it, he kind of paused a little bit before he said yes. 3rd down, 10. Alfred Anderson watched the gadget play. Anderson can throw it.
He's got him.
He's got Leo Lewis at the 20, 25, 1st down.
Hey. Well, you know, they told me before the game when I was out there sneaking around on the field, we're going to do a lot of trickery, a lot of little gadgets, and this is a good job by Kramer. Comes back, drops that old ball down, hands it off to Anderson. He goes outside on the run, fakes it, support comes up. Look at Louis Wright, number 20. He turns around and says, oh, holy mackerel, got to get that run. Then little Leo snuck in behind him. 87, Anderson gets him the football, and by golly, they got him a big play. Watch it again. Anderson's going to drop back, fake the pass, hands off. Now, really, the key here is the way he strung it out. Really made it look like a run. Now, the bad thing here is that he waddled that football down there. That could have been a touchdown. But anyway, that's a good play.
Randy Robbins made the tackle, faked the draw. Kramer goes deep left side, overthrows Mike Jones. Might have been catchable.
Ball should have been caught. This is a football team that has to make every great catch, every great block, every good throw. Everything has to work for this Viking attack, for them to be able to move this football, because to be honest with you, they have not had that many great things happen to them this season.
Well, they're 3-8. They've only been blown out twice, once last week by Green Bay and in the season opener against San Diego. They've only won 3 games, and each of those was a narrow victory, but Les Steckel is trying to implement his program and change from Bud Grant. As a result, he's got 15 players in the first year, including 6 free agents, 4 draft choices, and 4 acquired on waivers. 2nd down and 10. Kramer across the middle, caught by Dwight Collins, his 2nd catch today. He is one of the 4 draft choices who made this ball club. They didn't have that many draft choices to begin with. And looks like Randy Robbins is a little shaky.
Well, you know, the old theory we had when we were in Pittsburgh, Chuck Noll used to say this to us all the time. He says, you won't get hurt if you get out there and really give it your all. He didn't particularly like easy games. As they say, this is supposed to be an easy game. He didn't like that. He would pull the starters out and put the other kids in there because he knew they were going to dog it, and eventually they were going to get hurt. I'm not saying that's what happened to Randy, but this is just a point to be brought up.
3rd and 5. Carl Mecklenburg, number 77, pass rushing specialist, is in. Kramer caught at the 12. Out of the tackle, and Steve Jordan fights for yardage. He does have enough to move the chain.
Hey, this guy's a quality tight end. Did a fine job that time. I'll tell you, Kramer hasn't played in 4 weeks, but Tommy looks sharp. He's coming back, getting the ball off fast. Their offense right now is designed to get rid of the football quick and not allow anyone to get penetration on Tommy. Did a good job there at time. Steve Jordan, 83. Fine route, good reception.
Terry, he's wearing a special pad because of the separated shoulder. Now, even if the shoulder is healthy, how much does the pad inhibit?
Well, I'm going to tell you something. Special pads won't help us separate his shoulder. You're going to land on it a certain way to separate it. All you got to do is land that way again. I don't think the pad can help him that much if he gets hit right. Hopefully it's healed enough that it'll take quite a blow for it to separate again.
Quick count. Ted Brown to the 7-yard line. 3:25 to go in the first half. The story of the first half has been the Denver offense. Turnovers created by the Bronco defense. They've gotten 3, but then John Elway has exploded for 2 touchdown tosses, or 3 rather. Minnesota scored on 1 long drive. Kramer to Ted Brown, and now they're putting together their 2nd sustained drive of the first half, and it comes with 3:04 to go before a sellout crowd on a gorgeous November day here in the Mile High City. 2nd down, 6. Quick pitch to Darren Nelson. He has doubled his offensive productivity in a week. Fumble again, but they may rule the play had been whistled dead. Steve Foley, number 43, made the tackle with help from Reuben Carter, who has replaced Scott Garnett.
You know, this Bronco defense has been the kind that, as you said earlier, Vern, it bends. You know, people say, why in the world can you go 80 yards against guys and not score? But everything changes inside the 10. They get complicated defenses, a lot of blitzing, lots of stunts. Really confuses the line blocking. Very hard to penetrate this Denver Broncos secondary.
Danny Reeves gave total control of this Denver defense to Joe Collier when he came here. Collier had been with the Bronco franchise for almost forever. Stan Jones, another long time. Interesting how he just said, the defense belongs to Joe Collier. I'm going to trust him and let him handle it, and he has done so. Timeout has been called.
You know, a diesel mechanic doesn't cut his teeth on rigs like that. I started out on pickups, then graduated to these babies. Now we got this place with 18-wheelers stopping in on the way to both coasts, because the trucker appreciates a quality job at a fair price. And so do I. That's why I like Meisterbrau. Oh, I could pay more for beer now, but this has full-bodied taste at a nice, easy price. Hey, fellas, let's lock them up for the night.
Meisterbrau, big taste, without the big price.
There's only one bank that lets you cash checks at more offices in more cities than any other bank. Only one bank that's in 14 states and gives you check cashing privileges at over 1,000 full-service banking offices. Only one bank that's there with your money when and where you need your money. From Alaska to Wisconsin, Colorado to Hawaii, only one First Interstate Bank. Think about it. First Interstate Bank, one bank that's there when you need it.
There's Joe Collier in his 16th season with the Broncos. They had a contest run by the Rocky Mountain News to name this defensive unit. We opened the show with that. The winning entry was called the Plundering Herd. So that is what the Bronco defense will be known as for the rest of the year, I guess. But the second place finishers in honor of Joe Collier was Joe's Bait and Tackle.
Love that one.
And I talked to Joe on the field before the game, and I said, that's a pretty nice tribute. He said, that wasn't my favorite. He said, my favorite was Louis Wright and the Pips. They had 10,000 entries in the contest. The Plundering Herd won it. The Plundering Herd's on the field. It's 3rd and 4. And the Vikings scatter like mice. Alfred Anderson, power sweep to the right. He's going to throw it again, or wants to. Can't. Caught. Dropped. He was looking for Kramer on the left side.
Well, they came out into the power eye, shifted. Tommy came out from under the center, which makes him a legal receiver. He takes the ball, he hands the ball off forward underneath to Alfred Anderson. He goes wide. Now here we're going to watch it. Okay, Tommy hands the ball to Anderson. He strings it out right, says, everybody, look, I'm going to run with the football. Whoop, turns around, gets ready to throw it to Kramer, and Kramer's covered. He's to hold it. I think I'll just take it and run it on down. It does. It gets to the 5-yard line, 6-yard line.
One reason Kramer was covered is because the Vikings had run that play successfully earlier this year.
You know what? Some certain plays, Vern, have a look of, you know what, this doesn't look right. This just doesn't smell right. And that whole sequence that time just gave the hoot and holler bunch, whatever you call them over there, a clear indication that, hey, we better stay home and watch for some fanciness.
You should have entered the contest. The hoot and holler bunch. 2-minute warning, 28-7. Denver on top. Back in a minute. You're 3-8 for the year, and you're down 28-7 with 1:57 to go in the first half, and you've got a 4th and goal from the 6. Why go for 3?
Well, that's what I agree with that. I think this is a smart decision here on behalf of the Vikings to try to put the football in the end zone. This offense can do it. 28-14 at halftime. I believe you've got a football game. I believe it would help them a great deal. And, that's probably a major understatement, but I definitely agree with going for the touchdown.
That is what they have decided to do. There's Wade Wilson out of East Texas State, who started the last last 2 games while Kramer was injured. Check his wide receivers now. He's got Dwight Collins in the lineup. Collins will break and go wide right with Mike Jones. Leo Lewis comes from the near side. Ted Brown, the only running back, and the tight end is in a wing spot to the left side.
Look for some of those little fancy picks down here, Vern.
The illegal plays. Here's Kramer. Gets the time, goes in the end zone, intercepted. Picked off. 4th turnover, first half. Roger Jackson got it. He's had a bigger one this year. It came in the overtime win against Los Angeles in Los Angeles. And helped set up the winning field goal.
All right. Tommy had the double slot to the right. He never flew with a double slot. Evidently, he tried to isolate back to the backside on number 81. He could not get him free. Turned around. Joe Cintra, that is, turns around, and 48 Randy Robbins is center. See Cintra come around, tries to do a good job. No avail. Roger Jackson, 28, tips the football, and then Randy Robbins, 48, comes across and intercepts.
It was indeed Jackson who tipped it, Robbins who got it. 28-7 with 1:51 to go in the first half. That's Randy Robbins' second interception. The first one he had this year went 62 yards for a touchdown. Coming up at the half, scores and highlights with Brent and Irv back in our New York studios. The Broncos again in command with a 28-7 lead with 1:51 to go in the first half.
Hey, and I'll tell you what, I look for the Broncos right now and try to take this football 80 yards and put it in that end zone. There's plenty of time. 1:51, good time to exercise your 2-minute drill. It's good experience for your young quarterback. You got a commanding 28-7 lead. It's time to try to make some things happen.
First down and 10, Denver. John Elway has been terrific in the first half, 11 of 13 for 130 yards. Handoff, Sammy Winder for about 5. Scott Studwell, number 55, made the tackle. Danny Reeves was quite candid in the conversation that we had with him Friday afternoon. This was a team, Terry, that was 9-7 last year. You asked him what his realistic expectations would have been at this point in the season. What did he say?
Well, he said, you know, we would have loved to have been, 7-4 or something like that. Would have really tickled us to death. But 10-1, that's really kind of dreamland to him.
Timeout. Back in a minute.
Hi, I'm Joe Sensor of the Minnesota Vikings. I'm one of more than 300 NFL players who have brought you United Way public service messages over the past 10 years. Perhaps you'll remember the spot I did on adoption.
I first met Dan Reeves in 1967, Terry, and I can remember back in Dallas, maybe his second or third year with the Cowboys, Tex Schramm saying that is a young man who is going to be someday an outstanding coach in the NFL. There was a lot of speculation early in his coaching career that he was the heir apparent to Tom Landry. I think at one point Danny thought that might be the ideal position for him. I don't think he feels that way anymore. I think the longer he's been away from the Dallas organization, the less inclined he might be to go back there. Here's Rick Parris going wide left. They will keep it on the ground, but they pick up the first down. That might change their minds at 1:29.
Well, I don't see anyone hurrying up. It seems that the Broncos are very satisfied with being 28-7. I disagree with what they're doing because I think John Elway could take this football down there. I think it's important that they move the football through the air and try to score touchdowns. Being conservative and killing a minute 51 on the clock, I don't think that's smart football. I don't care what the score is. I just disagree with what they're trying to do right now.
I know Les Steckel is kind of pleased.
Well, he may be. That's like a golf shot. Everybody's happy about it. Somebody is.
That's right. I've seen you shank a couple. Pleased the life out of me. Here, now they're going deep, and Watson is there. The second longest catch of the year for Steve Watson.
You've heard of lulling the defense to sleep. They lulled us to sleep here in the box. Fine job, good pass protection. John gets back, and something that's unheard of in a prevent offense situation where everyone is playing zones is the fact that you can get a man deep and complete a long pass. Fine throw, good catch by number 81 Watson. Joey Bronner, number 47. Failing to cover his man. Good job that time. But they did. They kind of lulled me to sleep. They showed no enthusiasm. They seemed to be very content with just running the football, getting out of here at 28-7 at halftime, then wham! Take off down the sideline. Now we're looking at the ball on the 12-yard line. No, 17-yard line.
44 seconds remaining in the first half. Coming up next Saturday on CBS, Louisville Cardinals against the Indiana Hoosiers, live at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. That'll kick off another season of terrific CBS Sports coverage of NCAA basketball, and it's all going to culminate with the NCAA Basketball Championship on CBS Sports next spring. Against Buffalo earlier this year, Steve Watson caught a 52-yard touchdown toss from Elway. That last pass was good for 50, the second longest of the year. Elway, I think you would agree, has shown remarkable improvement in the second year.
Well, he's showing a lot of poise. As he said the other day, things have slowed down. They're not going as fast. And when they slow down, a quarterback is able to keep a clear mind, read the coverage, understand what he sees, and go to the player that should be open. He's demonstrating that today. Lots of poise.
Jim Wright in motion. Elway back to throw in the face of a four-man rush. He's not been sacked today. Drills it out, bobbled, and then caught at the 13-yard line. Jim Wright makes the catch, his 8th of the year.
Well, they're 33 seconds and counting, and now finally calls a timeout. What John was trying to do was get everyone back up on the line of scrimmage. Evidently, they had 2 plays called that time.
Terry, do you remember in your second year in 71, was there that much of a dramatic improvement for you?
I'm going to tell you exactly what happened in my second year. My first year, my rookie year, I completed like 38% of my passes. In the second year, I didn't really understand coverages that well, and they brought in Babe Pirelli as our quarterback coach, and Babe told me very simply, look, when you go back and that guy's covered, go 1, 2, 3, find 1, 2, 3. And what I did my second year was come back, flanker was covered, go to him, second guy was covered, go to him, third guy was covered, wide flare. And that's how I played my second year until I understood the coverages.
I know that there was a lot of conversation in this town about a supposed feud between you and John. You were outspoken when he was drafted by Denver, were you not?
Well, yes, I did say a few things about that. So why you bring that up,
I thought I'd
partner?
give you a chance to explain it. That's all.
I thought I did a good job back then. Now, John and I had a few words. I'm kind of, I've got my opinions, and John certainly did some things that I didn't agree with, but it's history. It's water under the bridge, so to speak, and I'm a big fan of his. I was one of his biggest supporters when he was in college, prior to all the stuff that came out.
Still like what you see of him?
Oh, you bet. A lot of, he got tremendous talent. And I said it, Marino and Elway are really the class. They're the future superstars in the National Football League at quarterback.
Interesting. Terry asked Dan Rees if there was ever a chance of Gary Kubiak and John Elway getting into a real quarterback controversy here. And Dan just looked at Terry and kind of grinned and said, no, don't believe so. Second down.
He's got him.
Lobs it up. Incomplete. Coverage by Willie Teal, the 5-year man from LSU, who's intended for Rick Paris.
Does a good job that time. What they were trying to do, they understood the coverages by the Vikings was going to be man. They tried to get Paris out of the backfield, isolated man for man on a linebacker, but Teal picked him up, covered him well, and the pass was thrown out of bounds. Good throw to get the ball out of bounds and kill the clock. No interceptions down here. One of the things as a quarterback, when you get in this situation is, don't give the ball up. Don't give an interception. We want to at least come out here with the opportunity to at least kick a field goal.
Perhaps the most impressive day offensively by the Broncos in 1984. They have a 28-7 lead and a 3rd and 5 from the 12. Fake, the handoff, Elway on the roll.
He's got him open in the end zone. There it is.
First touchdown catch as a pro for Ray Alexander. 4th today for Elway.
Stutter told us in practice the other day, and we asked him what were the things that were really improvement that he saw in Elway. He said the fact that he's remained cooler and calmer, and the fact that we're getting him out of the pocket to utilize his great athletic ability. As you see here, he gets out of the pocket. Ray Alexander does a fine job of coming all the way across the field, gets in that seam, slows down. John gets outside and pops him with a football.
Ray Alexander had his first 3 catches of the season last week in the win over San Diego, none bigger than the 3rd and 15 catch at the 5. And John Elway has thrown for 4 first-half touchdowns.
I tell you what, it's a good feeling. It is a good feeling. This young man has had a rough go. It hasn't been all bed and roses, even though he signed a big contract and all the problems he had. They've been waiting on this explosion, and today it's happened in the first half.
That That was an 80-yard drive in 6 plays. The big toss was 50 yards to Steve Watson after they had run the ball twice. And then the touchdown catch by Ray Alexander, his first for the free agent rookie from Florida A&M.
Let me ask you something, Vern. Now you've got a 35-7 lead. You got your quarterback. You've got a showdown with Seattle next week. What would you do in the second half? Would you pull John, or would you bring him out for a series and hopefully they go down and score? Or would you put Kubiak in and let him play the second half? Because, you know, against Oakland, hey, he pulled that game out and played outstanding football in that game.
I think I would play John for 1 or 2 series in the third quarter and then sit him down.
If they don't score, if the Vikings don't score?
Exactly.
That's my thinking. But what do we know, right?
That's right. Okay, Coach Bradshaw. John Elway is 14 of 17 for 194 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Not bad.
Rich Carlos will kick it off. It's 35-7. 21 points in the first quarter, 14 in the second, 4 turnovers so far. It's been all Denver. Maurice Turner gets the short kick and is down to the 39-yard line with 12 seconds to go. Of course, the big showdown comes next week, the first of 2 games between Denver and Seattle. That'll be here. In the last 4 games, look at Minnesota's schedule. Chicago, Washington, the 49ers, and Green Bay, all teams that are doing quite well. And then the Broncos, of course, have Seattle at home. They currently lead by a game. Then at Kansas City, San Diego at home, and then they have to go to Seattle on a Saturday in December. And currently, Denver at 10-1. The Seattle team won again today, 10-2 for the year in that snowstorm in Cincinnati. The Raiders have now lost 3 in a row.
I'll tell you, the Raiders, if these 2 teams continue winning, Seattle and Denver could knock one or the other out and put the Raiders in.
Kramer into double coverage for Leo Lewis. Mike Harden had a chance at the interception and saw it go right through his hand.
I used to love the old theory. They used to tell us that defensive backs are really guys that have terrible hands. They can't catch a football. That's why they're over on defense. They're aggressive, but they can't catch the football. When they're running, they lose it. Well, that was a good chance right there for Mike Harden to go down and show his athletic ability, go up high point and make an interception right through his hands.
I'd say that there are some folks here in the stands who are thinking about Seattle already. The Hawkbusters.
That is an ugly hawk.
And I imagine John Elway in the back of his mind, in the deep recesses, is thinking about the Seahawks.
That was good. I like the way you did that. A little back of his head, back of his mind. Good job, Vern.
Unintended, Brad. Just lucky. This will be Louis Wright.
Louis drops it.
That's 2 drops.
I tell you what, my theory's holding true.
They got bad hands, huh?
No, not really. They're playing the ball well. They're just not making interceptions now. Of course, 35-7, you know, it's pretty well out of reach, it looks like.
Well, what an impressive offensive explosion by the Denver Broncos, something they have been awaiting for much of the season, and it happened for them in the first half today. That's the end of the first half with the score, Denver 35, Minnesota 7.